Welcome into the MassLive offices here. We're previewing the 4 state semifinal games coming up on Saturday as we move over to Westfield State, talking about Division 4 Shepherd Hill and Wahconah. Wahconah, their second straight trip to a state semifinal, their second straight undefeated season, at least in the Western Mass portion. Last year they lost to Doherty in a great game in the Division 4 state semi. Definitely a lot of unfinished business for those seniors and juniors who were there last year and experienced that last year. But let's start out with Shepherd Hill, a big team, a team that has rolled through Central Mass this year. What are their strengths? What do they do well?
The strength of Shepherd Hill's team, and it showed in Central Mass play this year, is just how much more size they have up front than any other team they've played all year. They go about 270, 280 across the board in their offensive line, led by Boston College-bound guard Chris Lindstrom. And it helps with all the weapons they have at running back. They have Scott Ambrosia, David Sarkodie, Luis Martinez, and their quarterback, Jean Guillaume, who is currently being recruited by a few Division I FCS schools, is an unbelievable playmaker. And so having big guys like that to make the holes for you when you're a speedster like that, it helps.
Yeah, if you go 270, 280 across the line, I think that's going to be tough for Wahconah, who doesn't have that kind of size. They're extremely well coached. Defensively, they're so solid that they rarely give up more than one score in a game, simply because they never over pursue. Those guys are always in their lanes doing their assignment, and rarely really get burned. So they're an extremely well coached team, but size-wise, it's going to be tough for them to match up. Not to say they can't hang with Shepherd Hill. They're a great team. Nick Clayton's one of the best quarterbacks out here in Western Mass, but I think it'll be a second half to watch, because for a team like Shepherd Hill that goes so big across the line, can these guys who are going both ways kind of keep up and keep hitting it and keep taking and pounding it to keep in the game as the game wears on.
Yeah, and then you'll probably start to see that in the second half, and that's what Shepherd Hill has done to teams all year. Is they wear you down in a lot of their games, are somewhat close in the first half, and then ends up being a blowout by the third or fourth quarter. So it'll be really key for Wahconah and how they respond early in the second half.
Yeah, and there have been teams they've played this year who they haven't matched up in size. Hoosick Valley is a bigger team than Wahconah. That was an 8-7 grinder. They can win games in different ways. They can certainly grind out a game on the ground, or a game where defensively they're playing well, but offenses aren't moving the ball too much. They've shown the ability. You don't win this many games in Western Mass without having to do it a little bit differently. So they've shown an ability to sort of adapt to their opponent, and if you take Wahconah out of what they want to do, it doesn't necessarily mean they can't respond. I think that's good coaching breeds that. So they can absolutely adapt, but as we said, we'll take a look at the size and how that goes for them. So it should be a good one. Shepherd Hill and Wahconah, I think one loss between them this year. And I think regardless of division, 2 of the best teams in each region. I think Wahconah certainly can compete with the D2 teams, and Shepherd Hill has shown an ability to compete with the D2 teams.
Yeah, a lot of talent on both sides of the field, and I think you're absolutely right. I think you'd see both of those teams compete in their respective D2 tournaments, no doubt about it.